Welcome ladies and gentlemen to another episode of Picks to Watch. This time we're going to be looking at some of the regional picks that could make their way as teams battle it out for bragging rights at this year's Rift Rivals. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Now listen up EULCS fans, I've got some champions that our opponents from across the pond might try and surprise us with, so let's check them out. First up we have the Freljord's craziest berserker, Olaf.
Bro!
While he's largely absent from European play, the Axe quarterback is a common pick for the visiting North American squads, Team Solo Mid and Cloud9. His potent early game, deadly skirmishing and fantastic gank potential make him a solid answer to junglers like Lee Sin and Kha'Zix. Olaf's biggest strength is when he's Ragnarocking his way onto the backline, Ragnar-rolling his opponents into mush. Now it's not a party without friends, so grab some bros like Jarvan or Galio and raise the roof. Then drop it onto your enemies. Usually the Rift's bro Sidon prefers tank items like Dead Man's Plate, Righteous Glory and Gargoyle's Stoneplate. This means that he often falls off as the game goes longer due to his limited damage output and crowd control. As a result, snowballing with the might of Lokfar is very important. It's difficult to claim the title of Mighty when you're as squishy as a Poro and have the damage of 1-2. Finally, while he lives for the glory of combat, don't get too tunnel visioned while trampling your foes, because without his team, he'll quickly be greeted by the cold embrace of death. Our next champion is none other than the Spear Throne Cat Lady, Nidalee.
On the prowl.
Phoenix One's rookie jungler Mike Young dazzled viewers with a dominating performance over in the North American LCS. The high-octane shapeshifter may be rare in Europe, but her solid clear time and swift movement speed make applying pressure in the enemy jungle a game of cat and mouse. In addition to her jungle pressure, she's a sieging beast. Her long-range spears plus the attack speed she provides allies are perfect ways to make quick work of any tower. A common itemization path for the Bestial Huntress is Runic Echo's Rod of Ages into a Zhonya's Hourglass, which gives her extra survivability in fights. Speaking of fights, team fighting is where Nidalee falls short. Given her squishy nature, it's difficult to dive into the fray and get her claws onto a priority target. Therefore, Nidalee performs best when she can keep the enemy at a spear's length away. Disengaged supports like Braum and Tahm Kench make it harder for the enemy team to force a fight. This means that she also synergizes well with other poke champions like Varus. And with that many pointy things flying towards your face, it's best to just duck and cover. Don't think I forgot about you though, NA fans. In order to make this a fair fight, I've got a couple of picks that the EU teams might bring to Rift Rivals. Now, while there may be some NA imitations of our Yordle King Reckless, none have quite achieved the same level of renown. His cannon pocket pick has been dominating the opposition in the European LCS, but what if I told you there's another Yordle that he's just as dangerous with? I'm talking about the little lady with a gigantic cannon, Tristana.
My dragon will eat you.
Known around the world as a formidable late game hyper carry, she can now build Blade of the Ruin King and a Phantom Dancer to give her some extra firepower in the mid game. Now you may see Reckless building a Frozen Mallet, but please don't try this at home, only qualified professionals are allowed that level of chill. One of Tristana's biggest strengths is her ability to turn towers into rubble. With the added range and attack speed from her Q, alongside the burst damage from her E, watch as towers turn to trash before your very eyes. Another strength of the Yordle Gunner is the flexibility of her playmaking. Her ultimate quite literally blows the enemy away, helping the tiny bombardier make plays and self-peel when fights start getting crazy. Her rocket jump either blasts her away from danger or directly into the fray, making for the deadliest game of leapfrog her enemies will ever play. Be mindful of overestimating your damage when jumping in though, unless you are of course a fan of Yordle Shish Kebab. Last but not least is Xerxes' favourite murderous mutt, Warwick.
Who's a good boy? I am.
The UOL jungler pioneered the reworked beast in the spring split before doubling down and making it one of his go-to picks this summer. The Wrath of Zorn sustain makes him one of the most feared duelists in early skirmishes. The massive heal on Jaws of the Beast, coupled with the attack speed steroid from Bloodhunt, make him one monster you never want to run into alone. His early ganking is surprisingly good, thanks to the added movement speed from his W. He will, however, need some additional CC setup from the lane he's ganking, otherwise your Aroos will turn into Arrrrrrr. Nearly had him. His ultimate makes anywhere on the map a perfect place to ambush his prey. Not only is it great for suppressing and slashing his foes to death, but he can also act as a canine delivery service, bringing Orianna Ball or Shen into a fight. In the event that you're more of a scaredy cat than a hungry wolf, his ult can be used to easily leap away from danger. And while he does excel in duels, teamfighting is a little more difficult. Given that he can only focus a single target, he can often be ignored or kited. Therefore, make it easier by giving the pup a walker that can help him stick onto those primary targets. After all, Go Fetch is always more exciting when there's two rather than one. That does it for this episode of Picks to Watch. If there are any fun or interesting champions that you think could make their way over to Rift Rivals, be sure to hit me up in the comments section below. With that, Rift Rivals begins Wednesday the 5th of July, and you can head over to LoL Esports for all of the relevant information. So, I'll see you there.